Formula One is universally acknowledged to be the premier motorsport on the planet, and as such, people are willing to do just about anything to get their hands on any sort of memorabilia they can. And one recent auction in the Netherlands provided one lucky bidder with a pretty obscure piece indeed. Today, we are discussing the Honda F1 engine that has recently sold for around $25,000. Stay with us. Let's jump straight in then. What's this all about? A Honda engine used by both the Jordan and BAR teams in the 2001 Formula One season has recently sold at auction for a whopping $24,781 USD. The RA00E 3.0-liter V10 engine doesn't run, making it one of the most expensive paperweights of all time. The auction took place in the Netherlands, and the winning bidder had to fight off another 46 would-be owners, meaning there were a total of 47 people bidding on a more than 20-year-old car part that doesn't even work. In its heyday, the engine was capable of 830 horsepower and almost 18,000 RPM, and in 2001, its best finish was 2 third places by Jacques Villeneuve, who drove the BAR Honda to podiums in Spain and Germany. The engine has basically been stripped down and doesn't even have any pistons. Honda rebuilt their engines every 746 miles, but after this particular engine's last race, for some reason they stripped it out and removed some components before mounting the mill to a stand, which had a base in the shape of Honda's world-famous emblem. The new owner won't be able to mount this into a car either, which begs the question why they have parted with such a huge amount of money for it. It will probably go on display, possibly in a Honda showroom somewhere, or even in a private museum. Nowadays, Honda powers the McLaren team after taking time away from the sport. What do you guys make of this? Next up, could Honda be set to return to F1? Let's see. Of course, nowadays, there is no Honda team, with the company instead providing engines for some teams, but they could be set to return to the fold for the 2026 season, after quitting at the end of last season as the Japanese company wanted to focus on the EV market. But as we know, they still have their toes dipped in the F1 water a little, providing the power unit for Max Verstappen's title run last year. Red Bull and AlphaTauri cars still feature Honda badges due to the fact the company still manufactures and assembles their engines. And with Red Bull's successes last year, some have suggested Honda themselves could be set to return to the fold with a team of its own. Earlier this month, Honda CEO Toshihiro Mibe was spotted at the Austrian GP, further fueling speculation, and they have also admitted to following the 2026 engine rules closely. HRC President Koji Watanabe said, "Formula One is the top motorsports category, so we are always watching what is happening in the F1 world," before going on to say, "Of course, we just finished and concluded our activities, so nothing has been discussed within the Honda company about 2026 season, so no plan." He did, however, concede that it's not a closed door, and the fact that discussions are heading toward carbon neutral, which Honda are also known to be doing, points to a possibility they will return. What do you guys think? Good idea? Some have claimed their recent absence from a key F1 meeting speaks louder than any words, however. As we know, some of Honda's heaviest hitters were present at the Austrian GP earlier this month, which set the rumor mill off in a big way. But some have claimed this was just a coincidence, and that more should be read into the fact that they were conspicuous in their absence from the recent F1 Commission meeting to discuss engine regulations for 2026. Honda themselves revealed they were not present and that they also have no plans to return to the sport. I mean, the Honda hierarchy wasn't even at the Red Bull ring when the meeting went down, only arriving a day later on July 9th. Watanabe said, "We knew a meeting was planned, but we were not there." He then claimed that Honda currently has no say whatsoever in any new rules going forward. Some have suggested that Honda's appearance was merely just nostalgic, with Watanabe claiming their only involvement now is to provide technical support to Red Bull, before saying, "So there is also no frustration in the current situation, as we did not develop and produce the power unit on our own initiative, but cooperate with them at the request of Red Bull." Watanabe also said that whilst motorsport is very important to the company, they had to make a business decision decision, and that decision was to pursue carbon-neutral technology. Fair enough. What did you guys think of Watanabe's words? Next up, Lewis Hamilton has fired a warning to his rivals. Stay tuned. Hamilton is currently more than 100 points behind in his bid to wrestle back his title from Max Verstappen. But this week, he has been in a bullish mood, warning Verstappen and Charles Leclerc that there's a lot to come from his Mercedes team. Hamilton, currently sitting in 7th in the driver's standings, seems to believe he has what it takes to close the gap, and even spoke of his excitement at what the rest of the season has in store for him. And he seems to be backing up his claims after a difficult start to the season in which he and Mercedes seemed miles off the pace, as it appears as though he has turned a corner by finishing on the podium in the last 4 races. Whether or not he can reel in those above him remains to be seen. He will have to start winning races, and fast. Having finished second on Sunday in France, Hamilton was in a confident mood, saying it's been really positive to have some consistency come back in, and bit by bit, you're getting a little bit more comfortable in the car. And going into the second half of the season, Hamilton has said, we're constantly adding performance, we're constantly progressing forward, and there's a lot to come in the next races. So I'm excited about that, and as I said, in the last race we were only a few tenths off the lead guys in qualifying, so I think slowly we're getting closer. What do you guys make of his words? Lando Norris has been explaining why he doesn't drink during races now. Stay with us. F1 cockpits can regularly reach 50 degrees Celsius or more, and with drivers in there for around 2 hours, most will make their way through liters of drinking fluids, but not British driver Lando Norris. He has revealed that drinking whilst racing at high speeds makes him feel sick, so he simply doesn't do it. At the recent French GP, outside temperatures were more than 30 degrees, which means the cockpit temperatures would have been, for the most part, unbearable. For this reason, most drivers will take on as much fluid as they can to try and counteract everything they lose through sweat. Norris said, I still don't use a water bottle inside. It makes me feel too sick, so I can't use it. I just can't do too many fluids when I drive. I just barf it back up. So that's why I avoid it. Each to their own then. And it clearly doesn't affect Norris too much, as he went on to finish in the points last weekend, bagging 6 points for finishing in 7th position. However, he seemed frustrated with his driver, saying, I think we achieved everything we should have done, could have done. Frustrating because I guess after yesterday, our hopes were just pushed up a little bit. What did you guys make of last weekend's French GP? And finally, Daniel Ricciardo has reaffirmed his desire to stay in F1. Australia's Daniel Ricciardo has had a difficult start to the season and is currently languishing in 12th position in the Drivers' Championship with 19 points. And amid reports earlier this year that McLaren Mercedes boss Zak Brown wanted him out, Ricciardo has reaffirmed his commitment to McLaren, saying, there have been a lot of rumors around my future in Formula 1, but I want you to hear it from me, before going on to tell his followers on Twitter that he is committed to the team and has no plans to walk away. And last week, McLaren's Andres Seidel responded, saying, from our point of view, there was never any speculation required. He went on to explain that their focus is on working with Ricciardo to find these last percentages in terms of performance. He then said Ricciardo's statement doesn't come as a surprise, and he simply took it to mean that Daniel was confirming that both parties are together. What do you guys make of Ricciardo and Seidel's comments? A new dawn for the team, or just putting on a brave face? Let us know what you think below. As usual, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to stop by again next time for some more fun reveals. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video with any F1 fans you might have lurking on those socials. Bye guys!